Open Your Eyes is brought to you by Smart, bringing people together, and the Belize Bank, our country, your bank.
And welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I'm Isani Cayetano.
And good morning, Belize. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning, Isani.
Muy buenos días.
Muy buenos días. What have you been having?
Yes. Sukatelida.
What? Okay. It's a great start to a wonderful day.
Yes,
It is a really wonderful day. It is July 8th. We are in the second week of July already, like nothing.
So how do I feel this morning?
How do you feel this morning?
A whole lot different than how I felt last week, Monday.
No,
knowing that there was a system out there. Yeah, man. I feel relaxed and at ease this morning. It's the start of a brand new week for us. And I'm hoping that it remains positive and upbeat. We don't have to worry about nothing.
I have a good feeling about this week. I think I woke up with the same type of energy. It rained over the weekend in Belmopan. I'm not sure about the rest of the country. And we were carefully still watching Beryl making its way to the United States. Yes, I have family in Texas, and so we kept watching and to ensure that everybody's okay. I was very... I don't know if it's maybe because we've been reporting it from since last week Sunday, but I am kind of exhausted about talking about Beryl in the sense that I still can't believe that it's still alive and well in Texas, if that makes any kind of sense.
I read an article, I think earlier this morning, where Texans are bracing for Beryl to make landfall. Right? And the picture that the article had said, Beryl, don't be like Harvey, right? So Texans experienced Hurricane Harvey in 2017, right? Harvey being one of them that came through the Caribbean via the Atlantic and made its way over through the Gulf of Mexico into the United States. But the havoc that it wreaked is the reason why the person put on the plywood, you know, Beryl, don't be like Harvey. And I kind of found it interesting. But nonetheless, I mean, I was making light of it earlier when I said, how do I feel this week? A whole lot different than I felt last week. Simply to say that, you know, while we've spoken at length about Hurricane Beryl and the fact that it's sort of like an anomaly in the hurricane season, you can't get enough of having these conversations simply because, one, there are 5 more months to go.
Indeed. I saw some posts about persons being like, oh man, I buy plywood for nothing, or I overstock for nothing. And I'm here to say you didn't do it for nothing. It is a great course of action to take these preventative measures. That's how I see it anyway, because like you rightfully said, 5 more months to go. And I didn't think about it until you said it. We do have until November that we have to kind of brace ourselves.
Get your act together.
Get your acts together. So thank you so much for that reminder, Isani. I don't know how I feel now, but thank you so much.
But what else is buzzing? What do you have?
You know, we are now here in Belize, kind of bringing it closer to home. There's so many topics to discuss, Isani, and one of the topics being that we have KTV coming. We have so many different events taking place over this weekend. I also think that for the majority of the newscasts that we had last week, we touched on various conversations and topics in the midst of the whole hurricane season.
Yes. I think what we should touch on is the decision made within the BEBL to replay Game 3 of the finals between the Hurricanes and the Defenders, right? There it is. And it's a story that we broke on Friday as well, where Paul had reached out to the commissioner of the league who said essentially the decision is based on an appeal, that they will just simply replay the game. And what makes this interesting is the fact that you have ardent supporters of either of these two teams, right? And the chatter has been, okay, from one end is, oh, this one I can't take losing, or this one I can't understand what are the rules of the game as to why.
For context of the viewers at home and for persons that perhaps don't really stay abreast with this topic, what was the underlying situation that led to now we're postponing and postponing
There was a call that was made that was under review. Okay. Right? And when they reviewed the call, they came up with a decision that would have been in favor of the Hurricanes. The decision would have been in favor of the Hurricanes. And so the defenders were not happy with the decision. Right. And so they appealed the decision. So it's similar like if we go to court, right? Yeah. The Supreme Court hands down a ruling. If I'm not satisfied with the ruling, then I go to the appellate jurisdiction to seek some redress, right? Similar. Okay. So now the final decision is, okay, the game will be replayed, right? So scrap the previous game 3, where I play over game 3. Now, I don't know what effect, if any, this will have on either of the two teams and the momentum going forward. But this has been the decision that's taken by the league, right?
I feel like every single year there is something that goes on with the BBL. There is something that we have to discuss. I think this particular, it is. And this particular year we've kind of been, it's run its course. I feel like the season should have ended a while ago and we're still here. And we're still here because now we have this particular situation.
Well, I beg to differ, only to say that this is where we sort of extend the season because of this particular conflict, right? Before then, I guess they were on track to conclude, the season. But yeah, I mean, at the end of it all, we are basketball people, right? So while this may be a bump in the road, I'm certain that because it's also summertime, that they won't lose the kind of fanfare that they would have received.
That's what I was thinking about, because I said to myself, man, this is this is not the first time we've kind of been talking about controversial situations within the BEBL for this season alone. So I was saying, man, if I was a fan and I'm buying my tickets and I'm looking forward to these games and all of these controversies keep happening, when would I expect that the finals would be over? And then, of course, for either team and their fans, they would want to see this resolved as soon as possible. So now why is it now till July 26th?
Well, as I mentioned, the decision puts it that they will replay the match. And of course, they set a date, it's July 26th. It gives, I believe, everyone a chance to kind of cool off after the decision, get back in the mood and work out and prepare themselves for game 3 once again. But yeah,
have you been to the matches?
A couple of them.
A couple of them.
Yes.
And what is your as a fan, because you're a basketball fan?
Yeah, but I don't have a dog in this fight. Okay. If that's what you're gonna ask.
No. I was gonna ask, how do you see the evolution of this league with all of these controversies, and situations?
I think year on year, they've done pretty well in terms of being able to establish the league and, of course, the respective teams being able to establish their fan base, right? I think they've done an excellent job where that is concerned. I think at the beginning of the season, my primary concern as a viewer and as a fan was the price tag for renting the Civic on a game-by-game basis, right? Yeah. And whether the teams were able to afford that rent, so to speak. But I haven't heard any complaints since, so I figured they have that part covered. At the end of the day, the Belize City Civic Center has its operational expenses, and it's not that you're going to use a facility and not, consider the upkeep and what have you. So I think we've been able to handle that quite well. Notwithstanding the circumstances, right? But by and large, I think, the league has shown, and the respective teams and the players and the administration has shown that basketball, like any other sport, is viable in Belize once it's done properly.
Right.
And I think, I would commend them for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Here's another thing that's buzzing, right? Over the weekend, a video, a very, very short clip began circulating that shows a police officer detaining someone. And this speaks for itself, right? This speaks for itself. The individual is unarmed, and the force with which the officer is subduing the individual is up for question, right? And then on top of that, the officer is telling the person who's recording, don't, with an expletive, record me, right? There's a lot to digest just off of this 5-second clip in terms of the way the officers carry themselves in the line of duty.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and like I said, like you said, it's only 5 seconds, so there's only so much you can get from it. And yes, we didn't play the audio for reasons that he was using vulgar language, but it doesn't look like the civilian was threatening. Based on that 5 seconds, that we have no idea why he decided to. The
shortness of the clip does not contextualize why the officer reacted this way.
But he was as an unarmed civilian, and he was already reaching for his firearm. He was already reaching for something, and he already has it in his hand. He hits him.
Here's the thing, right?
And this is an unarmed person.
To have a weapon shoved in your head in the manner in which the officer did. So what would have happened if that weapon went off?
Right.
A young man would have been dead.
Right. But I'm just looking at the fact that it's, even regardless of the conflict, like I said, we have no idea what's happening right now, but regardless of the conflict, the manner in which he takes out his weapon, the manner in which he subdues the individual that doesn't have a weapon, that is not in a position, it looks like, to be threatening the police officer. And then, of course, the police officer then turning to the camera person and saying, don't record me. Right?
Yeah.
And it goes back to, I remember when you all had Commissioner of Police on this set, you rightfully asked them questions about things like this that puts a scar on the police.
A black eye in the department.
Yeah, on the department. And I remember him clearly saying you have one or a few, and the media, of course, shows these things. But I can't, with a good sense, say one or two when it's a constant showcasing of these different acts.
All right, so I'll say this much on the matter, right? So we'll seek to get some kind of a comment from the Belize Police Department when we meet with them today. Ordinarily, I believe matters like these are referred to the Professional Standards Branch, and then it depends on internal investigation to determine what actually happened. But the length of the clip, like I mentioned, does not give you the full view of what transpired that resulted in this. Perhaps the officer has his own story. The civilian who's being subdued naturally has his own story as to what happened there as well. I don't know the individual who's being subdued. I don't know if this is someone who has had a previous run-in with the law or has a record per se. I don't know. But the manner in which he's being subdued, some would say or argue, leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
But yes, this is also buzzing because it's in circulation heavily. But
I mean, it's still one of those prime topics of police abuse, abuse of power, abuse of authority. And then, of course, we also are trying our best as civilians to spread the word out and to ensure that these things don't continue to happen. But I always feel like we talk about these officers that get caught. It's always a conversation. And then I'm not sure what happens to this person afterwards. So now that the word is out, we talk to the police department, we get a quotation. What then happens to the individual?
Well, like I said, a matter like this would be referred to the Professional Standards Branch to look at the conduct of the officer. And, if found culpable, then there's an action to be taken thereafter. I don't know if they'll put him on the interdiction or whatever measure that they would have taken to discipline the officer, as I mentioned, if he's found to be culpable of this particular act. It's a process, right? They have to investigate it and so on and so forth. So,
well, Isani, to kind of just wrap up our What's Buzzing and just to lighten the mood a little bit before we move on to other topics. KTV the Remix is in full force. We had our official first showing last week at the Bliss.
We'll say it like this, right? We started off on a very somber note.
Yes.
This season of KTV was very unfortunate that we lost our key judge. Is one of the faces of KTV, but I believe that the send-off from our end was done properly in terms of being able to honor and pay homage to the late Jenny Lovell.
Yes.
Right? And so now, with a new judge and a sense of reinvigoration, we get on with the season proper.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
As we say, notwithstanding the massive loss that we've taken and her family has taken, the show must go on.
The show must go on.
Right?
She would have wanted the show to go on.
Yes.
And so we are continuing KTV the Remix this Tuesday at 8 p.m. at the Bliss. Don't forget to get your tickets right here at the Channel 5 studio on Coney Drive or at 88 Shopping Center. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a very competitive season from what I have seen. So make sure you head on.
A lot of talent, a lot of
talent.
laughs, you know, a lot of disappointment and heartbreak too.
I
but
am
it all
curious
makes
for
for a
the
good season.
entertainment. I want to see that balance of entertainment and beautiful vocals. I am excited for this season of KTV the Remix. But of course, if you can't watch it live, of course, we are showing it live on Channel 5 and of course via our YouTube and Facebook pages. So don't miss it. You can't miss it. So that is our What's Buzzing segment to wrap it up. But Isani, we do have more topics to discuss.
Yes, it's Monday morning.
It is Monday morning, and so we are here to give you the eye on the news.
So, we ran a news item on Friday that admittedly got lost in the Hurricane Beryl shuffle, so to speak. And it had to do with a young man pleading guilty to having used a device, an electronic device, to spread nude images of his ex-girlfriend. Created a Facebook profile and what have you, sent her a link, and, you know, pretty much put her nude pictures out there. And this is part of a broader conversation that we're having around the water cooler, so to speak. But we're not necessarily addressing it in the open the way it should be addressed. You would recall, April, that just last week, a series of videos
were circulating.
Some very prominent people was in circulation. And it was the talk of the town. I guess because of the salacious nature of the acts being committed. But beyond that, though, is the real conversation of cyber crimes being committed and the fact that we've taken bullying to a different level in terms of being able to propagate this kind of material and then, you know, demean and belittle the persons who are, you know, in these videos or what have you. I use that to set this up as well, to say that in last week, the commissioner's brother was also arrested and charged for the second time this year for, you know, taking to social media and, you know, making disparaging remarks, you know, about the police department and, of course, the role of his brother as a commissioner of police.
Right.
It's to say this. I think the fact that we use and rely on social media so heavily, some persons have set aside whatever values they have to weaponize this platform, to be able to disparage others, to be able to share material that may be damaging to someone else's character or, you know, and what have you. And there's a piece of law that essentially oversees and governs, you know, what the ambit or the parameters are for these kinds of things. And when you go outside of that, then you are breaking the law and then you're being dealt with. So in the case of the young man from Friday in our court story, because of I would say, the overwhelming evidence that was presented against him in court, he pleaded guilty.
Yeah.
And now he's facing 5 years in prison, right? A sentence will be handed down in the matter sometime later. But it's to say, we need to have stringent laws in place to be able to deal with matters like this. Whether or not you're hacked, whether or not you don't want to put the information or the images out there and, you know, it takes on a life of its own and people just keep forwarding it.
It's damaging. That's the power of the internet, though, Isane. Like, you know, we were talking about this kind of briefly before we started the show, and I kept thinking about how the bullying in itself has kind of evolved from somebody shoving you at school to now they don't have to necessarily touch you to hurt you. And this particular device or social media profile or whatever, it's beyond just somebody touching and hurting you. It is creating, spreading this news. And it spreads like wildfire too. It's very, the way that people consume certain materials and gossip and so forth, it's very, very easy for somebody to send you something and you find it so alarming, shocking, surprising, even disgusting, that for some reason, and this is not a one person thing, this is all of us. All human beings do this, where we're looking at this thing and we want to say, look, Isane, this is what I got. And then that one person goes and then it just spreads like wildfire.
Well, the thing about it, April, is that when you weaponize social media to attack someone, whatever language, post, image, or whatever, it exists in the ether. So you'll always find those images or what have you there, in the manner in which the material is spread or propagated, right? And so it's damaging, to say the least, that one, your privacy may have been invaded. Two, the information being shared, you know, may be completely false and fabricated, made up to make you look bad. And three, it does not take into account what the effect of it would be on your mental and emotional state. I think that's the part that a lot of people overlook, right? We simply say that it's damaging, but we don't know the lasting effect of that on someone, right? These are things that lead to depression. These are things that lead to suicide. These are things that lead to other criminal act in retaliation and what have you. And so it's one big soup, so to speak.
And that's why I believe, was it like 3 or 4 years ago when they developed and launched the Cybercrimes Act. You know, for some reason, I said to myself, this is us as a nation kind of progressing and ensuring that we're all safe in every single element, right? But, and of course, this young man that pleaded guilty, he's being charged and so on. But he's one of the few that I hear get charged or even get caught in this sense. We have so many people out there that hide behind these fake profiles. And I believe that, I'm not sure how the investigation runs. That's a question for the cybercrimes unit. Locating IP addresses and finding the prominent source of a particular video or post or so on. I'm not really sure how it works, but I would hope that this particular story is a lesson to be shown, because people still do it. People don't really see the Cybercrimes Act as something to be fearful of.
Well, this isn't in isolation of any other criminal activity that takes place online.
Agreed.
We've covered stories where persons, you recall when Celebrity was taken for that $3,000 ride? That was also a cybercrime incident as well, where someone created these fraudulent transfers and transactions online. And it's pretty much obtaining property by deception, but you're using this platform to be able to carry that out, right? And so it exists. Cybercrimes and cyber criminals are out there. And I think it speaks to the weight of the legislation that is in place and how it is enforced. As usually you have laws for everything, but law enforcement is what keeps everyone in line in terms of being able to, as I mentioned earlier, operate within the ambit, the parameters of those laws, right? But that's a discussion that we could continue having because many of us are on social media. Many of us don't know what the true ethics are in terms of how we're supposed to carry ourselves online. We just figure you could put your business out there and, you know, you're in no man's land and it's ungovernable. But much to the contrary,
and
right?
it's very much a generational thing, I think. The more young people use it and so forth, it's becoming also very complex. There's a lot that people hide and fabricate, and I mean, there's now these AIs that can look like you and create an entire video like you, and it can make it look like you're in one place when you're absolutely not. It's becoming very, very, very sophisticated, and so I believe that as those things evolve, we have to keep up. Right?
The laws have to be able to keep up. The other point that I wanted to touch on quickly is later this week, a special sitting of the House of Representatives will be held. We've been following from the previous sitting, the one that the opposition boycotted, that the Briceño administration is trying to complete, in a manner of speaking, this entire agreement with the Millennium Challenge Corporation. We had the Minister of State with us last week, along with other representatives of the MCC, who were here to discuss this particular agreement and what it stands for, believes in terms of benefits and advantages. And I think the government is pushing this through. And so later this week, we'll be having that House meeting that seeks to, you know, finalize or to carry that through. Without preempting the fact that the good Prime Minister will be joining us this morning, and I'm certain that we'll be able to bring that up. We'll
have more conversation about. He'll be able to answer some of our questions when it comes to that.
That does it for this morning's Eye on the News.
And moving on with our show for this morning, we are going to motivate you with a little bit of our eye opener taken from dailyom.com, and it goes like this. Bitter feelings allow us to become perfect victims, in that we no longer feel obliged to work towards healing. It is natural to feel resentment or anger when life does not unfold as expected. We consciously or unconsciously anticipated one experience, and we grieve for the loss of it when the universe puts something else in our path. Most of the time, we work through these feelings and they pass. Occasionally, our anger and resentment do not fade and are instead transformed into bitterness. Bitter feelings allow us to become perfect victims in that we no longer feel obliged to work toward healing and choose instead to identify with our pain. Yet, as unwholesome as bitterness can be, it is also a natural element of our emotional palette. When we acknowledge that it is okay to feel bitter, we reconnect with our hurt in a constructive way and can begin the process of working through it. Divesting yourself into bitter feelings can be as simple as truly forgiving and moving on. Even when your bitterness has no concrete object, you can forgive situations too. Healing pain can be challenging, but may be easier if you remind yourself that you are the only entity truly affected by your emotional state. In time, you will discover that letting go of your bitterness frees you to initiate the healing process and allows you to once again celebrate the possibility of the more wonderful life you deserve. Thoughts? I'm not sure about this one today.
I don't do well with bitterness. I'll say that much.
Okay.
I don't harbor resentment. I'm the type of person that I say how I feel. Perhaps I act in a certain kind of way, and then I move on from that. So I don't hold on to feelings. I don't harbor resentment. I don't I don't put bitterness in front of me, right? But I understand how others, based on their personalities, hold on to the feeling of bitterness. But at the end of the day, it's a weight that is pretty burdensome. Who wants to walk around with the weight of bitterness on their shoulder? I don't, right? So I try to find meaningful ways to be able to get over things, right? If it's something that is within my control, I try my best to reshape in a manner of speaking. If it's something that's beyond my control, I just learn to coexist and say, okay, you know what? I'll have to be able to deal with this going forward, but it's not something that's going to weigh me down to the point that, you know, I walk around with a chip on my shoulder.
I think I kind of coincide this particular eye-opener with forgive but don't forget. Kind of. No, because, okay, I get it. I totally understand. And I don't think grudges are good. And I feel like that's where this eye-opener kind of leads. If you hold a grudge forever, it definitely is burdensome. I am somebody that I do need to sit with it for a while. Not for resentment purposes, but because...
you want to process it and digest it properly.
Need to.
I get that.
Because if I don't and I lash out, probably will say things that are not true, or probably will maybe
more
regret.
Damage than doing good.
So I do need to like sit with my feelings and make sure that I process it, and then once I have all of my ducks in a row per se in my head, I am able to work through it or talk about it, and that's how I process this. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't think that holding resentment helps you. In fact, I think that it kind of makes you think about other things in a different way. The positivity aspect of your life kind of gets shut down when you are holding grudges and holding resentment. So
I think the eye-opener is powerful in that regard. Being able to identify that at some point one has to move on and let bitterness go.
Agreed. All right, we hope that you were motivated this morning with our eye-opener, and talk to us. Tell us how these eye-openers do help you, or maybe you don't relate to them. But I really enjoy having these conversations early in the morning. But moving on with our weather forecast for this morning, we bring you an update from the National Meteorological Service.
Good morning. Moist and relatively unstable conditions prevail over the area. The 24-hour forecast. Skies will be sunny with cloudy spells today and then cloudy at times tonight. Showers and thunderstorms will be isolated this morning and then increase slightly around the country by this afternoon. Then tonight, a few showers, thunderstorms, and periods of rain will affect mostly southern and central areas. High temperatures for today will reach around 86 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 89 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and 76 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains. Low temperatures for tonight will reach around 81 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 74 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and 67 degrees Fahrenheit in the hills. Winds over the open sea will be from the east to southeast at 10 to 20 knots, and sea conditions will be moderate to rough. So please note that a small craft caution is in effect for occasionally gusty winds and rough seas in east to northeasterly swells, so operators should exercise caution. High tides occur at 11:09 this morning and then at 12:34 tomorrow morning. Low tides at 6:38 this evening and then at 5:45 tomorrow morning. The moon will rise at 7:45 this morning and set at 8:56 tonight. Sunset is at 6:31 this evening and sunrise at 5:24 tomorrow morning. The extended forecast. Skies will be cloudy with a few showers or thunderstorms occurring around the country on Tuesday morning and then over the south on Tuesday night. Otherwise, activity will be isolated. And now for the tropical weather outlook. At 6 a.m., Hurricane Beryl was now over land and centered near latitude 29.2 north and longitude 95.8 west, or about 45 miles north-northeast of Matagorda, Texas. Beryl was moving to the north at 12 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of 75 miles per hour. Elsewhere in the North Atlantic, Caribbean Sea, and Gulf of Mexico, tropical cyclone formation is not expected during the next 48 hours. And this has been this morning's weather report from the National Meteorological Service.
All right, here was your update. primarily good weather for us here in Belize for the next couple of days. But moving into our show lineup, our first two segments, we'll be joined by Honorable John Briceño, Prime Minister of Belize, to give us a couple of updates.
Our second conversation is an introduction to the Adely collection.
Yes.
So we will have a designer who's going to be with us to share with us her crochet products.
Okay. Well, we have new ideas coming from
yes.
out of Belize every single day. But before we get into all of that and more, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll have Honorable John Briceño with us. Don't go away.
I'm David Humes, this is Vanessa Humes. We own Ladyville Cool Spot. Belize Bank save us a lot of time. Working with them, we can keep track exactly what we spend. We recommend Belize Bank 100% because we don't have to go to stand up in line, and we can check on our account right from our house. Working with Belize Bank is the best.
The hurricane season is here. Are you prepared? Get the essentials you need to stay safe this hurricane season, such as plywood, tarp and rope, first aid kit, rubber boots, raincoats and rain ponchos, generator, portable radio and batteries, flashlight and kerosene lanterns. Weather the storm with these products and more from Benny's. Quality and savings.
$2,251,000 slices of watermelon are eaten by tourists each year in Belize, benefiting local farmers and processors directly. Tourism means business.
Belize's favorite Tuesday night entertainment is back. KTV the Remix Season 6. On Tuesday, July 2nd at 8 p.m., we go live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets for the live show are available at Channel 5 on Coney Drive and at the 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard for only $5. Come out to win fabulous prizes and a chance to compete in our KTV challenges. Catch it live on Channel 5, Facebook, and YouTube. KTV the Remix Season 6 is going to be exciting, fun, and only on 5.
I am Ronald, lineman lead hand at BL. We are an essential service and we are doing everything we can to make sure that we keep the lights on for our customers.
I work outdoors and my job is to provide safe and reliable power.
Our teams continue to serve communities across Belize.
I'm David Humes, this is Vanessa Humes. We own Ladyville Cool Spot. Belize Bank save us a lot of time. Working with them, we can keep track exactly what we spend. We recommend Belize Bank 100% because we don't have to go to stand up in line, and we can check on our account right from our house. Working with Belize Bank is the best.
The hurricane season is here. Are you prepared? Get the essentials you need to stay safe this hurricane season, such as plywood, tarp and rope, first aid kit, rubber boots, raincoats and rain ponchos, generator, portable radio and batteries, flashlight and kerosene lanterns. Weather the storm with these products and more from Benny's. Quality and savings.
$2,251,000 slices of watermelon are eaten by tourists each year in Belize, benefiting local farmers and processors directly. Tourism means business.
Belize's favorite Tuesday night entertainment is back. KTV the Remix Season 6. On Tuesday, July 2nd at 8 p.m., we go live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets for the live show are available at Channel 5 on Coney Drive and at the 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard for only $5. Come out to win fabulous prizes and a chance to compete in our KTV challenges. Catch it live on Channel 5, Facebook, and YouTube. KTV the Remix Season 6 is going to be exciting, fun, and only on 5.
I am Ronald, lineman lead hand at BL. We are an essential service and we are doing everything we can to make sure that we keep the lights on for our customers.
I work outdoors, and my job is to provide safe and reliable power.
Our teams continue to serve communities across Belize.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
And welcome back. As we mentioned prior to our commercial break, our first and second segments this morning will be a conversation, a lengthy conversation with the Prime Minister of Belize, John Briceño. He's here in studio with us. Good morning, PM Briceño.
Good morning, Isani. April, good morning as always. Thank you very much for inviting me and also to V. You know, left you alone. Once she said that, she's constantly on it, but certainly, no, thank you very much.
How are you doing?
I think it's considered pretty good, I think. Never a dull moment. You know, something always comes up when you think you are going to have an easy day, something that you have to be looking after. But generally, I think that as a government, I think that we've been doing, I think, fairly well. Mm-hmm. I think better than what most people expected, considering what was inherited in November of 2020. So I'm grateful to our Creator, to our God, and to the Belizean people for the constant support that they continue to give us. And of course to my colleagues in Cabinet, that all of this is possible because we have a very good team that we've been working together from day one, and that we have a very good plan, a roadmap as to what is it that we want to do that we have listed out on the Plan Belize.
While we have you with us, I want for us to begin with perhaps a quick post-mortem of what took place last week. I know for the early part of the week you were out of the country on official business in Panama, while many of us Belizeans were watching closely the progress of Hurricane Beryl, which perhaps at some point in time we felt that it would have come in our direction. Give us your thoughts on how NEMO and the National Met Service were able to work in tandem to deliver the kind of information, play by play in a manner of speaking, with respect of the weather system.
Well, certainly, I think we need to commend Captain Mendez, who has just taken over less than a year ago with NEMO at the helm, to be at the helm of NEMO, and his entire team. I think they're doing a lot of changes, and also being able to use more technologies to be able to keep on top of everything, and to ensure that we can be giving proper information to people. Gone are the days when you would go up on the roof and try to, just be surprised. I used to ask him, how you used to do it? So we used to go on top of the Albert Catoo's building and say, Andre, wet your finger, with your mouth, and you try to gauge where the wind is coming. It sounds funny, but that's what they used to do. So when in 1998 for Hurricane Mitch, he was blown out of the water when he was seeing through the internet, starting to see hurricane coming to Belize. So that has changed everything, the whole way how we look at hurricanes. And also people are looking on other, the Weather Channel, Color, Weather, and also other apps for them to be able to keep on top of what's going on. So we have the information, it's just a matter of now how and when to act. As I mentioned, don't listen to social media, don't listen to what people tell you, and even the Weather Channel and Color TV, they are a Weather Channel, they're giving you more a regional and global picture as opposed to Belize, whilst the Met Service, Sir Gordon and his team, they are honing on Belize, and when he gave a presentation to Cabinet on Thursday, he said they're working in finding ways how they could even narrow it even more, so that when you get a report from them, you know that it is about Belize. So I think we need to really give them kudos. I think we need to congratulate them, and I wish more Belizeans would take the time out to thank the people at NEMO and the Met Service, because when you and we are at home, they have to be at work. They have to be on top of everything. But if there's one thing I want to emphasize once again, to Belizeans, it's not like in the 20, 30 years ago that as soon as you have a hurricane, you don't have enough information, so you run out to buy all kind of food and do the tape down your windows and tie down the roof, and way ahead of time. And back then, because we did not have timely information and more accurate information, we had to do that. Today we don't need to do that. We have, for instance, by the time you're at when a hurricane is going to hit Belize, we have at least about 24 hours before that happens. So you have enough time to do some of that. Of course, at the beginning of the season, you could buy some canned food and stuff like that doesn't not spoil, and you could eat it any time. But when you go and buy 20-pack bread and then kind of stuff, you eat pack bread every day, and all that chicken and this kind of stuff. Let's be smart about what we do, and let's not be spending money that we don't really need to spend. But overall, I want to really congratulate them. And I remember Captain Mendez and his team were just trying to wrap up through this fire, quote-unquote, fire season now that we have. First time we've had it so bad, and especially the Toledo district and the Ankara district, they've been out there, virtually non-stop. So we really need to, and also to Minister Perez, who has just taken over the ministry, and again, Minister Habet, we need to give him credit that again, there was nothing pretty much with NEMO when we came on board. and he's starting to build it up, and now Minister Perez taking it to the next level.
I'm glad you touched a little bit on the forest fires, because I think that for the most part we all saw NEMO as just for hurricane prevention plans and so forth, but they're actually in charge of the entire national emergency plan.
Any emergency that we have. For instance, right now this couple that was stranded over a flash flood. Again, we don't listen. There's this sign, flash floods go happen right now. Still go out there. But again, NEMO was also activated quickly to try to coordinate and organize in trying to get the people out. So NEMO is pretty much the only hurricane all year round. If something happens, they are the ones that have to be called to be on the front lines.
And how do they coordinate then afterwards with your ministry? So now that the forest fires we're out of the forest fire season, we're in the hurricane season and so on, but there is a significant amount of damage that happens during this time of the year. Now that we're out of the forest fire season, how do we now plan to build back? How do we assist the communities that have been affected through your ministry?
Okay, so what happens now is that they do a damage assessment report, and NEMO is not only them. Then you bring in different ministries. For instance, I think Natural Resources is in charge of preparing the actual assessment out there. Then housing will take a look at the housing stock. Agriculture, what happened in agriculture. So all these ministries under the guidance of NEMO, they prepare these reports. So now that we have the report, now we've been making some funding available. We've been working with the Ministry of Rural Development along with agriculture. The agriculture we're trying to work with, get seeds for the farmers to be able to farm to plant again. And it's raining now, so we'll be able to do some more planting and so forth. In infrastructure or MIDH, helping to fix the roads and to helping with housing stock and so forth. So it's a coordinated effort, and it's coordinated certainly through the Ministry of Finance that we have to make these monies available. Quite likely then we go to the National Assembly for a supplementary budget to be able to pay for these expenses. Expenses that you don't budget for, but we have to deal with.
PM, a little over a week ago, you brought to the House of Representatives, the National Assembly, a proposed amendment to the Fiscal Incentive Act, which essentially takes the place of what would have been definitive agreements passed on to these major developers. Let's talk about that, and perhaps why it would have taken the length of time that it took for your administration to bring forward this particular proposal.
I don't think it's a matter of length of time. I think what happened is that with the definitive agreement and then these special pieces of legislation that is passed just for a specific project, we felt that that's not the right way to go about doing it. Why do I say that? Because when you look at what has happened with the definitive agreement under the UDP, we know for sure who are the people that were involved in getting this done within the UDP. It opens the opportunity for sometimes rogue ministers to try to extort, as what Mr. I think Gegg said that he was being extorted to the tune of $1 million. By members of the then government. So for you to get this piece of, or to get the incentive, these special incentives because of the magnitude or the scope of the investment, then you almost have to be hat in hand from ministry to ministry and trying to talk to everybody, trying to get the support. We want to remove that, one. Secondly, we want to also to make sure that everybody could know upfront what is there, what is it that you can expect. Thirdly, before we did pass the legislation, we needed to have some consultations and trying to come up with something that can work for the long term. not just hurry through something, they don't say, oh, we're different. It is because we want something that can really work. And look at the types of investments that we're doing in Belize, the level of investment, and to see how we can then give that support for those huge investments that are being done in Belize. And after lengthy discussions with different people in different industries and the private sector, within government, looking at what's being done in the region, we felt that it would be best if we could put a number of a dollar figure to the investment to be able to get. So we felt that any investment over $250 million US dollars then could get these additional exemptions like the GST and all of these taxes, because it adds up. These investments would take 3, 4, 5 years before it could even start to generate money. And in GST, I think you have like 6 months to be able to put in your, to get refunded. Yeah. But you're not selling, so you can't get it. So imagine in $100 million, 12.5%, you have $12.5 million. In 200, and that's US. If it's US, so that's you're looking about $60+ million that you'll be paying in GST. So we need to ensure that we can give these huge investments an opportunity to succeed. Because if it succeeds, then we also benefit from the work, jobs that are created, and also the spin-off other different businesses that they need to get. For instance, a big hotel, you need vegetables, you need local meats, you need chicken, you need fish. These are just other spin-off effects that you get. The hardware stores, all of them have to be selling, so it creates a spin-off effect. And so it's important for us to help them to succeed. So we felt it's best, put it out there. There's one law that would cover everybody, as opposed to having, for instance, we had the State Bank law. Yeah. The State Bank has a definitive agreement, which is almost the same as to this one that the UDP was presenting, and then trying to make, I don't know, I still can't understand what is the issue with our government because the definitive agreement. We did nothing, we did not accept it. We said, it's best that we try to come up with something different, and we believe that this is the answer.
Here's a follow-up question. $250 million US dollars is the equivalent of $500 million Belize dollars, right? So the natural question is, do we have any project of that scale, of that magnitude that's being undertaken in Belize? Yes. Or perhaps if $250 million seems a bit too high a threshold?
Well, that is the idea, because you only want to do it for these big, large-scale investments that are needed. When you look at the issue of a cruise port, any cruise port that is built in Belize is going to cost over $250 million US. And the big part of it is because of the dredging that has to be done. Unfortunately, Belize City, where we have the main port, this whole area is just set geographically in a bad spot because of the swamp and the silting from the Belize River, bringing a lot of silt, especially this time when there's a lot of flooding. So you constantly have to be dredging, and that is a big cost. We have the Four Seasons right now. They're building the Four Seasons in Key Chapel, and that investment is going to be about $400 million US dollars. They're investing in there, and it's not only the hotel, but several very upscale homes that are being built for different people that have already purchased their pieces of land, their parcel of land to be able to develop. So it's a whole a development that's all of it is intertwined. The houses along with the hotel and all the auxiliary services. That investment is about $400 million US.
Pam, how do you justify these large investments to the local persons that are not seeing their personal economic grow?
Well, there's I totally disagree with you, because what we did before we passed this law, we also made a fiscal incentive act for the MSMEs, for the small businesses. We are encouraging a lot of the small businesses that are part of the informal economy to register, to become a part of the formal economy. We're telling you, come and register. We're not going to look back at what you don't sell, or if you owe any taxes. All of that's going to be forgiven. You start a new one. Secondly, we're telling you that we are going to give you fiscal incentives up to $1 million over 4 years. You don't need to come up with these. You know, the criticism has been that small businesses can't afford an attorney, they can't afford an accountant, and can't afford technical expertise to be able to put a development concession application. It's a very lengthy and detailed process. So what we've done it a simplified form. You come to Beltrade, and we'll hold your hand and walk you through it, get you registered so you could then start to pay your GST and pay your business tax if you reach the threshold. And then you have access to these development concessions for 4 years. And if at the end of 4 years we're seeing that it's a business that's thriving and growing and need another 4 years, we're going to give you another 4 years. So we are also doing for the small businesses something that has never been done in Belize. So we are reaching out to them and ensuring that we can also create a climate for them. And lastly, we have said, I think starting this fiscal year, if not certainly by next year, we are saying that we will set aside 20% of the business of goods and services that the government provides for small businesses. So they could also get some business from government, and not only the big supermarkets and business stores and so forth. So we're trying to share it as best as we possibly can, and assisting not only the top but also the bottom. Remember, about more than 60% of employment, was it 80% of employment is from SMEs.
I think this sets up the perfect segue, excuse me, for us to talk about economic and fiscal performance. Where are we as a country in terms of the economy of Belize and our inputs into the economy, and of course the benefits that we're perhaps reaping from these inputs?
There's always room for improvement. You always want to do better. But when you look at where we are, I mean, nobody expected us to be where we are right now. Certainly not the former Prime Minister, the former government. And even the IMF and the World Bank, IDB, all of them are literally the European Union. They're blown away to see how well we're doing. And we say, knock on wood, can't afford a hurricane right now. We are doing very well. Belize right now, the tourism industry has been exploding at about a rate of about 30%. It's the hottest market in the region, both in Central America and the Caribbean. Secondly, our first quarter, we had 10% GDP growth. 10%, imagine, 10%. Unemployment rate at 3%, something I've never been seen before in this country. And when you look at the issue of the wages have gone up considerably. Why? Because we raised the minimum wage. And once you raise the minimum wage, the others that were earning $5, and then the people below you come to $5, and they have to raise up your salary. And it created a cascading effect all across the economy. When you talk to businesses in Belize City or around the country, they're telling you they can be hiring people for $5. Now they have to be paying starting salaries around $8, $9. Call centers are paying starting $8, $9, $10, with incentives, which is a good thing that he has created this kind of economic activity, and that it goes into people's pockets. Alongside to it, it has created a little bit of wage inflation because salaries have gone up. So some businesses may have had to raise their prices a little bit to be able to offset that expense. But we could live with that because then people are making more money. So generally, Belize is doing very well, better than most countries in the region. The only country that's doing better than us is Guyana. And Guyana is not because of anything that the government is doing, it's simply because, well, God has blessed them with a lot of, well, I don't know sure about that. Long term, I don't know about that, with all this oil. And so now they are raking in hundreds of millions of dollars that they did not have.
Has skyrocketed.
They got up by 30% last year too.
Yeah.
But I mean, we do.
But if you take away the oil from them, I mean.
This is not a competition.
No, but for me it is, because I want to make sure that we say we're
the best.
We're doing the best. Of course, I'm very proud of what we do in Belize as a country. I still believe that I've never wanted to live anywhere more than Belize. But they know that I enjoy.
He's biased, but okay, we're gonna.
But Belize, okay, let's leave it as Belize. Yeah.
But we still have the PM with us. We have a lot more questions and conversations. We do got to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of Honorable John Briceño. Don't go away.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price but stay for the service.
Unwrap the joy of crystal clear picture and sound from Iowa, the brand that offers you affordability and exceptional quality. Iowa has a wide range of exceptional products to choose from, such as TVs, speakers, headphones, home appliances, and much more at affordable prices that won't break the bank. Enhance your audio-visual entertainment experience with Iowa, and for your convenience, parts are readily available in country for hassle-free maintenance. You can find Iowa products at your local electronics store countrywide. Choose Iowa, the best in home entertainment and household appliances.
Snackers chips are more than just a snack. They're a proud product of Belize. Sourced from corn grown in Cayo's lush valleys, then crafted with care and packaged to perfection by Belizeans. When you choose Snackers, you're choosing the taste of home and flavors you'll love. Snackers, done right, done here.
Belize's favorite Tuesday night entertainment is back. KTV the Remix Season 6. On Tuesday, July 2nd at 8 p.m., we go live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets for the live show are available at Channel 5 on Coney Drive and at the 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard for only $5. Come out to win fabulous prizes and a chance to compete in our KTV challenges. Catch it live on Channel 5, Facebook, and YouTube. KTV the Remix Season 6 is going to be exciting, fun, and only on 5.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered-up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning-fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
No, I can't let this plan. I can't let this plan.
And welcome back. For our second segment, we're still joined by the Prime Minister of Belize, the Honorable John Briceño. We continue our conversation with him this morning. PM, I want for us to be able to discuss briefly the issue of citizen security. I know that your administration has invested considerably in the expansion of the Belize Police Department and, of course, its resources to fight crime. But when you look at what took place last year versus where we are so far this year, crime and violence, particularly murder, seems to be up. We are in the presence of a state of emergency for certain parts of Belize City and, of course, certain parts of the Cayo district as well. But crime seems to remain prevalent. Let's get your take on that.
I think I would challenge you when you come to the word that crime remains prevalent, as if it's all over the country per se. One murder is one too much. Let's start with that. And so I don't want to be boasting, oh, murder has gone down, we still have 100 people got killed. That's way too much. We are doing our part. We've grown the economy, people have jobs, those that want to work can work. We're doing more and more free education, expanding the opportunities out there for kids to be able to stay at school. So we are doing our part. We've increased the police department. We're using more technology, DNA testing, which has allowed us to crack several cases. We use cameras, again, not only government or the police department, but also even citizens that have their own, and they help us to put together a case against people. So we are doing our part. But I've tried to put it this way, but you can't stop people who want to kill themselves as much as you'd want to. We can't put police officers in every corner of every street corner. It's impossible. And so the minute you turn it back, they are creating a problem. The state of emergency, we go through pains before we decide that we want to call a state of emergency. But sometimes you need to use the state of emergency almost like a timeout. You know, like, all right, guys, we're whole alone in a room, wherever it is, so calm down, try work out things amongst ourselves and so forth, kind of some sort of mediation amongst them. So it's not that just lock them up, but no, I think Nur Mohammed and others are now starting to meet to them, those that we have already in jail, just trying to start to form some form of mediation among them. So it's not something that we just quickly do. Now this time you say, well, why 90 days? Well, we think that with 90 days, the explanation that the minister and the police and commissioners gave us, they feel that they need 90 days for several reasons, but the most important one is that it gives the police more time to investigate some of the murders that have taken place. Secondly, it gives more time to the people in mediation to be able to talk to them and try to calm them down, trying to see if we can find some kind of peace amongst them. And thirdly, we feel that it can also act as a deterrent to say that I don't want to hold me up for 90 days, so I might as well try to walk as straight line as I possibly can. So, like I tell everybody, we believe that, well, we know for a fact we don't have all the answers. So for those, for critics that give me a solution. I'm willing to
I think in terms of long-term solutions, this particular administration is doing well in terms of free education, all of these particular call centers with jobs and so forth. But I think for my own, curiosity, kind of piggybacking from Isani's question, are the petty crimes, the robberies and so forth, that it's not in just one area, it's across the country.
Well, that happens anywhere you go. You go to New York and see them hold you up, so it's not something, and I'm not dismissing it, no, I'm not dismissing it. What's important, it's, again, we need to start at the nucleus of everything, the family. That where family is not as strong as it was when growing up. I always remember I was in standard 5, and there was this lady that, was suffering, she had albino, the skin problem, and I can call her White Roach, honestly. And they tell my mom that how I call this lady White Roach. When I get home, when my papa come home, I swear my papa give me a lashing. I never ever call anybody any kind of thing on the street. The point is that it takes a whole community to grow up a child.
Yeah.
But right now, the minute you go tell a family, a father or mother, hey, you're picking me, they want to beat you, as opposed to saying, oh, thanks, I got to talk to my child. Or your child, you bring one bicycle. Where you get a bicycle from? You bring one ball, where you get that from, No, we close our eyes to it. So it starts at the nucleus. We are not good parents like before, and even as a community, we have become almost indifferent to what's happening around us. We need to start to have that civic awareness and say, all we need is together. If the picnic get your blood, then someday it might affect me, so might as well we try to do something about it. So it starts there. Where we start. Yeah. It's not about government. It starts there. Then school. That over time, as much as the previous governments have been trying to keep up with the issue of primary school, that kids don't pay any fees, but the schools now at one time, the church state system has been in such that at one time the church used to also pay something. Now they pay nothing. Like what the Minister of Education was saying, frustrated. He says, primary system, if a window is broken, now they want us to fix it. So the churches, they don't have any money, so what they do, they raise fees. And so then a lot of kids can't go to school. And that is where now we as a government say, well, we have to try to see how we could prevent that from happening. So we have to find more money from our taxpayers to be able to do that so that these kids could get to stay in school. And for those that cannot afford in high schools, we're rolling out together with RISE program, especially government high schools, to provide totally free education for kids to stay in school. A young man that went to sixth form and a young man that dropped out at standard 6 have two different sets of morals. Yeah. The one at standard 6, think twice to try grab your phone and run with it. The one for 6 and say, what if they catch me? What happened to me? So it's education also has to play a critical role in what we're doing. And then as a government, have to make sure that the country, the economy is growing and creating decent paying jobs. Not one job will pay you $2, but that's that you could start with something, And the creative opportunities, I encourage people, start your own business. Try to do something for yourself. Now, I remember I was small, I always said I want to work for myself, and you do that. So there are the opportunities. But the issue with crime with some of these young men, some of these young men are unfortunately, because of what has happened in their home, the way they have grown up, it's society is paying for not giving the proper attention to these young men when they were kids. So we have to ensure that those little kids, we need to do everything possible to protect them.
No, I can't say I disagree with you. I'm thinking very clearly about the shift, the generational shift, and it's not just in the home or in school. It's the way we address each other in civil
and one more
society.
thing quickly, who knows? Why is it that we have a lot of these shooting right now among these young men? Supposedly it's because about turf, about where they're selling their drugs, the marijuana. if we had legalized marijuana, a lot of that would have been taken away from them, out of their hands, because then it's going to be legal. Something to consider.
Well, you're at the helm, right? We have a new growth industries for a reason. That seems to have gone dormant.
But then with churches, the churches are insisting on, and the reality or the sad part of it, and sometimes I wish that we could open our eyes that liquor or rum, red top, the red top is far more creating far more harm to this country than marijuana. But I don't hear them to talk about red top or the strong rum that's being sold out there.
It seems to be one-sided in terms of how they present the argument.
But even in the terms of the
they try to use it
state,
in terms of morality, but the reality is that marijuana, like I always remember Sanjay Gupta on TV, when they say he gives his presentation on marijuana, he says, I've never heard about anybody overdosing with marijuana. You don't go sleep, and you mellow down. But then people, they drink the red top and the rum, and so they drink and, then they destroy their families, they destroy themselves, they destroy the community. And that is where we need to be putting more attention.
Well, since you brought it up, NPM, and this is...
I brought up what?
Well, you brought up the initial situation of church and state affairs. Is it wise as a country that we continue running through this particular method of church and state?
April, what did I do to you?
I just asked.
No, but certainly something, I do believe that, I think it's something that merits discussion and take a look. I believe in the church-state system, but I think that we have to make certain changes. We need to, I don't think we could keep it the way it is. Why do I say that? Simply because in many instances, some of these churches are not managing their schools properly, and the kids are not doing well. I believe that the Ministry of Education then should set standards, and if you do not meet the standards, then the government needs to take it over. Or you could come up with another hybrid whereby that the state runs the schools, but you leave a certain time for religious studies, so that if it is a school that was run by the Catholic Church, for instance, or the Baptist Church, that every morning or I don't know how many times a week, they come in at a certain hour and then they teach religion. Because religion is important also, and mind you, like I tell everybody, I don't wear my religion on my shoulder, on my sleeve, but I do believe it plays an important role in growing up a child. It grows you up with certain morals that when you become an adult, you may not go to church, but you have those morals of right and wrong. So maybe it's things that maybe it's time to have an open discussion with the churches and with the communities on how best to go to the next level. In the past, the church-state system worked very well, and right now what we're having the challenges, and maybe we need to take a look at it.
I would want to continue that aspect of the conversation, but I know we're running short of time. I have one final question from my end. Politics. You know how it goes. We won't have you here without touching on a little bit of politics, right? I know that the by-election for Toledo East comes up on the 17th of July. Well,
so
happy birthday in advance.
I have to be PG for
a great place to be for your birthday.
Let's talk about the campaign on the ground. You wear two hats. You're the Prime Minister who heads the House of Representatives, but you're also the party leader who's looking for a win in Toledo East. How has that process been like in terms of the candidate that you guys have elected and the push to regain this seat?
It's been very tough for me. For those that know me, I enjoy campaigning. I love out there talking people, meeting with them, talking and joking with them, and arguing from time to time. I like that human interaction. Unfortunately, I've not been able to go there yet because of my work. And this week, last week I should have gone. I couldn't this week again. Last week because of the hurricane. Now this week, we have some international bodies meeting like ICAO and so forth. ICAO coming to Belize, down in Placencia. So I'll be up and down for those meetings. So what I have decided next week, Monday, I will just drop everything and go camp out in PG in Toledo, Monday, Wednesday, and Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to campaign and also for the election day. So it's been tough, you know, I must tell you. But I have every confidence in Osborne Martinez. Osborne is a man of the soil, you know. When I met him while we go on trips, and he would tell me about how he grew up, you know. That's a story that everybody should aspire or look at and say, you know, I'd love I can be like him. He said growing up he did not have electricity. He had a lantern, and then a lantern he is doing his homework. He said in the morning he said he knows to have black soot from the smoke. I'm serious, it's funny but it's serious. He used to go to school barefoot, he never had no shoes. When he started high school, there was this, sorry. There's a service station, and they allowed him to go to work there at night, and so then business slow at night down in the Vista area, so he has light, so he's doing his homework because he has light. So then he told me there's a teacher in particular then who told him, you know, we need to get you out from here and take you to ecumenical, I think, high school, no, or to one in Independence. And that's how he moved out there and then managed to improve his English. And from there, through scholarships, I got a doctorate in, I think it's economic development. And now here he is now offering himself to the people where he grew up from, you know, to say, you know, I want to be a part of you. I want to see how I could serve you to be able to bring more opportunities for the people in. So it's a success story and a story that Belizeans should look at and see, well, you know, if he can do it, then I can do it. And it's all hard work, determination, making sure that I can get it done. So I do believe, I have every confidence that on July 17th, we will once again be able to have a member of our party, the POP, represent the good people of Toledo East with Osborne Martinez.
I've been listening to the campaigns. I've been listening to his vision for Toledo. I don't like the term the forgotten district. I feel like PG has so much to offer in terms of development, tourism. I bias. I love PG, and so I want to bet for PG any day, right? But what is the vision really to turn this particular district from that state of it's a forgotten district?
I think it's more campaign slogan about being the forgotten district, because it has not been, certainly not under our government. Under the Said Musa government, we invested hundreds of millions in the Toledo district. Now here we come back and Toledo district has regressed as opposed to move forward. We have been working a lot on infrastructure. We've been working in agriculture, in land, but presently our hands are shackled because of the MLA, the Maya Leaders Alliance, in saying that with the issue of land and trying to sort out how this is going to work out. I've been very clear, we will not allow the balkanization of Belize. We have one country, and that's not going to change, certainly not under my time as Prime Minister. But we also, so we have to be working with them, trying to find a way how we could work side by side to be able to respect the cultural practices of the Maya people or indigenous people. But at the same time, we have to accept that changes are here. We can't continue, we can't live the way we lived 100 years ago. Things change, it doesn't mean we forget our culture, but we live in a different time, and so we need to be able to provide more opportunities for our people in Toledo, everybody, not only indigenous, everybody. We Creole, we are East Indian, Hispanics. Now we have more and more Hispanics in Toledo district than before. So we have to be able to learn to live side by side, respecting our cultural differences, but find a way how we can move the country forward and move Toledo forward. Toledo is a district that has endless opportunities, from tourism to agriculture to its environment. It's one of the most beautiful districts, and because a lot of it has been untouched, and we need to find a way how we could keep it as best as possible, like that.
I know Ismail said that was his last question, but you bring up MLA, so I have to now ask this because I was.
You're gonna have to ask.
I do. Because now you brought it up, and so it would be very unjust of me not to ask. So in the recent weeks, we've been looking at different old contracts, and this is just my side job, my day job, right? And we were looking at the agreement that the government of Belize had done in 1957.
Which one?
1957,
Oh, 57.
with the Mennonites coming into Belize. And now with that agreement, their government has provided land and resources to this particular cultural group. One would argue that if you can do that for one cultural group, why is the MLA situation so difficult?
It's different. Because back in 1957, we were trying to develop the country. If you read the history of George Price's life, you know, one of the arguments back in the early 50s and the mid 50s and 60s that was made to George Price back then says, you don't have a country. You don't have anything here. There's no development. So back then we had all of this land available, and here is a group of Mennonites that wanted to come to Belize to be able to work, and so we allowed them to come in. And in the agreement, if I've not read that agreement from what I know, basically they still have to abide by the laws of Belize. And they provide their own education, like anybody can do that in any community. The land that they're on now is private land. They bought that land. So it's private land. So they can set their rules there as long as they live within the laws of Belize. And that's what's happening there. Spanish Lookout, you can't go live in Spanish Lookout. Why? Not because you are not allowed, but because you don't have no land. The land in Spanish Lookout is private land. And so we don't have land. Toledo, as a district, it belongs to Belize. It's all of us. It's a part of Belize. And I should be allowed to be able to go to live in Toledo district. Just like the indigenous people, they go to Carmelita and they get land. They have a house lot, they have agricultural land. They go to Cayo, they go to Bamampan, to the Cayo district, they go to Bamampan. They're all over the country.
And wouldn't be denied access.
And so they're not denied access. So you can't have your cake and eat it.
I just had to ask, sir, because there are certain preferences that are given or believed that are given to some than others.
But no, I have answered you. So now you understand. Now there's no preferences given. They own the land.
So then, where do you move forward with the MLA?
Well, we've been working with them. I mean, for the past 3+ years. Even the CCJ has praised our government that we have been really working with the different communities and the alcaldes and so forth. You see, let me say this. When the alcalde system was set up, what, 100 years ago, or a long time ago, it was why? Because the British had nothing down south in that area. So what did they do? They went to the indigenous people, okay, you set up your own, kind of like your own magistrate per se, and your own, but times have changed. Now we have police there, we have laws, we have the presence of the government in the entire country. So not to say that you have these people that can come and arrest you and put you in jail and that kind of stuff. I mean, I witnessed when they grabbed this gentleman, a Creole man. So I was just passing by that by coincidence, and they have him tied up like, well, tie him up. Be like, what the heck? Yeah. You know, I mean, these times have passed. Again, respect a culture, but you also have things change with time.
LPM, I feel like why they always only give you 2 segments? We have to bring you back for the whole show. But final comments for the Belizean people of Belize as we close this segment.
First of all, I want to thank Belizeans for cooperating with us during this hurricane scare. It seems that this hurricane season is going to be one of the most active ones we've seen in a long time. And if no one believes about climate change, look at what's happening. So early already we have this huge, it went out to a category 4, category 5 hurricane for a while. And to thank our Creator, thank God that we were spared. When you look at what has happened to Grenada, I mean, Grenada about 20 years ago was almost wiped out, happened again. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Ralph Gonsalves said
90% of all structures have been raised.
Hundreds of millions of dollars of their currency, I think the EC money, just gone, and then to start to rebuild. That could have been us. So we need to need to be thankful. But at the same time, I just tell people, man, we need to work hard. We need to work hard. I mean, and this thing that, because we are at that hurricane watch, and we are shut down the whole country, man, we need to work. Yeah. We can't shut down the country. And so there has to be, and that's one of the things that we discussed last week, Thursday, at the emergency cabinet meeting, that there has to be better coordination, that you can't have one hand is something and next hand is something. One ministry do something, next ministry. All has to, but the office of the Prime Minister has the chairmanship of NEMO. So all these announcements need to come out from my office. When you have Sports Council shut down from Tuesday, why? Yeah. And some the port shut down Thursday, why? And when I called the minister, he said, well, when you check with the port, they're saying, well, we have to shut down so that ships don't come to Belize. How many ships come? 5, 10, 15, 20? Send them a message, don't come to Belize, we lock it down, but we are open up so that people who are desperate to try to get all their stuff from the port before the hurricane, if a hurricane were to come. Things change and we need to see how we do things better. So that said, I'm very hopeful, I'm very optimistic. Belize has been going on the right track. We're not perfect, but I can tell you that we've been working very hard and trying to continue to push this country forward. And as Mr. Price, you always say, with the grace of God, so we will move forward. Thanks.
You bring up topics and then you make I have to ask you a question.
What question?
Because you started talking about the fact that we had the preparedness plan. NEMO kept alerting our people very, very quickly, but at the same time, it still felt like certain businesses and certain institutions, everybody was working haphazardly.
I would say haphazardly, but some were jumping the gun.
Right.
And so what we said in cabinet is to make sure that we bring in everybody so everybody understands. And it was your boss, Minister Fonseca, that brought it up in cabinet and said that, hold on, we need to understand that the chairmanship of NEMO is the Prime Minister's office. So I am the chairman. And so only my office will make those announcements. Nobody. So now that is clear. I want to make sure again that every ministry understands that. Again, 20 years, 30 years ago, you don't have all the information, so you run, go shut down everything because again, no, you don't need to do that anymore. Exactly. Now we have the better data, better information, so we have enough time to take actions. And you don't have to shut down the whole country. The hurricane hit down south. Why does it not have to stay home, go work, and vice versa?
Right.
We need to work. That's the only way we can move this country forward.
But lessons learned from this particular plan, because even though
the number one lesson is that we have to remind people that all announcements comes from the office of the Prime Minister as the chairmanship of NEMO.
Okay. And the way we spread information through the media. And the way the media spreads information.
Well, you all are also to be blamed sometimes when they say things you're not supposed to say and then make people panic. You need to listen also to NEMO and to the Met department.
Right.
So the media also have something to do with it too.
Quiet for the past 5 minutes, but ruffle the feathers.
No, because you try to create. You have a job to try keep talking and saying things and trying to be on air all day, and then sometimes you say things that you create a sense of panic as opposed to calm people down. Sometimes, not all the time.
I think
not everybody,
that
not everybody. So, but seriously, though, but on a serious note, I am very grateful to the media, honestly, because you guys are stay on and they constantly give us information that we need. So I need to also put that on.
All right, Pierre, my only disclaimer is that perhaps that comment was directed at another media house and not necessarily this one.
I never say name.
We leave it at that. But thanks, PM. It's been quite a pleasure having this conversation with you. We've touched on a number of topics. We could sit here all day and discuss everything that has to do with your office. But once again, thanks for the opportunity to have you here with us and to be able to get the conversations going.
Yes, of course. Thank you so much, PM.
April, Lisani, thank you so much, and to the staff here and to our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in, and it all happens on Oya, right? Open your eyes.
Of course, and of course, you're welcome to come back anytime.
Thank you.
We are going to take another break, and when we come back, we have a small business with us to share with us a little bit about her collection. It's Adely's collection, all about crocheting. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize.
Hey there, smart thinkers. We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
No, I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
Belize's favorite Tuesday night entertainment is back. KTV the Remix Season 6. On Tuesday, July 2nd at 8 p.m., we go live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets for the live show are available at Channel 5 on Coney Drive and at the 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard for only $5. Come out to win fabulous prizes and a chance to compete in our KTV challenges. Catch it live on Channel 5, Facebook, and YouTube. KTV the Remix Season 6 is going to be exciting, fun, and only on 5.
MacNav Visual Strategies, where creativity meets business. Step inside our world of innovative visual solutions. From captivating graphic design to expansive wide-format productions, our services are tailored to bring your vision to life. Experience the impact of our high-quality signage and billboards, embroidery, promotional items, and professional paper printing, all designed to elevate your brand's presence. Every project reflects our commitment to creativity, quality, and client satisfaction. At MacNav Visual Strategies, we transform ideas into visual realities. Get in touch today.
Upcoming enhancements to My Social Security. The new healthcare provider feature seamlessly connects healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers to facilitate the payment of sickness benefits. Here are the enhancements. Registered healthcare providers will create and submit online medical certificates using their healthcare provider accounts. Insured persons will receive a link to view the medical certificate to complete and submit their sickness benefit claim. And employers will receive an email notification of their employees' sickness claim. Also, the insured person and their employer will receive a copy of the claim decision letter after review. Healthcare providers, insured persons and employers are encouraged to create a portal account to access and benefit from these new services on My Social Security at ssbportal.org.bz. My Social Security online portal. Social Security at your fingertips.
My name is Waluko Mejia. I'm the General Manager at Copal Tree Lodge here in Toledo, Belize. The Belize Bank service we appreciate most is the Belize Bank ATM and the use of its debit card. It makes it very accessible for our employees here at Copal Tree Lodge. Essentially, they could access the ATM on their way home after work, and also that the local stores accept the use of a debit card.
This plan, I can't leave this plan. Smart Belize!
Hey there, smart thinkers! We're turbocharging your mobile experience with Smart's powered up postpaid plans. Imagine a world where your data speeds flows faster than ever. Well, guess what? We've cranked up the dial and unleashed the postpaid power of Smart's lightning fast LTE data on all our postpaid plans. That's right, no speed bumps, more data. It's like having a limitless highway of data speed at your fingertips. Whether you're a lone ranger with an individual plan or a squad rolling with a group plan, everyone gets to surf, stream, and share at enhanced, full, high-quality speed. Switch to Smart's powered-up postpaid plans today and ride the wave of postpaid power. Visit any Smart showroom or smart-bz.com for details and make your mobile experience smarter and faster. Smart, bringing people together.
No, I can't leave this plan. I can't leave this plan.
Belize's favorite Tuesday night entertainment is back. KTV the Remix Season 6. On Tuesday, July 2nd at 8 p.m., we go live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. Tickets for the live show are available at Channel 5 on Coney Drive and at the 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard for only $5. Come out to win fabulous prizes and a chance to compete in our KTV challenges. Catch it live on Channel 5, Facebook, and YouTube. KTV the Remix Season 6 is going to be exciting, fun, and only on 5.
MacNav Visual Strategies, where creativity meets business. Step inside our world of innovative visual solutions. From captivating graphic design to expansive wide format productions, our services are tailored to bring your vision to life. Experience the impact of our high-quality signage and billboards, embroidery, promotional items, and professional paper printing, all designed to elevate your brand's presence. Every project reflects our commitment to creativity, quality, and client satisfaction. At MacNav Visual Strategies, we transform ideas into visual realities. Get in touch today.
Upcoming enhancements to My Social Security. The new healthcare provider feature seamlessly connects healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers to facilitate the payment of sickness benefits. Here are the enhancements. Registered healthcare providers will create and submit online medical certificates using their healthcare provider accounts. Insured persons will receive a link to view the medical certificate to complete and submit their sickness benefit claim. And employers will receive an email notification of their employee's sickness claim. Also, the insured person and their employer will receive a copy of the claim decision letter after review. Healthcare providers, insured persons, and employers are encouraged to create a portal account to access and benefit from these new services on My Social Security at ssbportal.org.bz. My Social Security online portal. Social Security at your fingertips.
And welcome back. For our final segment, we are joined by the owner of Adely's collection, Adelina Chan. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you for having
thank
me.
you for bringing some of your items to share.
Thank you.
So, based on what we have here, it definitely seems that you have a crochet talent happening. Let's start with how Adely's collection came to fruition.
Sure. Well, Adely, I officially started with pet accessories. Yes. So and then I ventured off in women fashion, and well, I experiment, and I'm a self-taught artist, so I learned everything by myself. Last year, I had the opportunity of, with UNESCO, going to Cuba and enhancing my skill. So that's where I learned more about fashion design, textile manufacturing, different fibers to deal with, different skills, not only crochet, knitting, fashion design, vanicas, different skills. So with all of that, I include that in my designing.
It's quite a transition going from crocheting pet clothing, so to speak, to taking on fashion full on.
Yes.
What was that like for you?
It was a learning experience. Many days I was confused and frustrated, but I was determined not to let that get to me. So I just continue on experimenting, and when I went to Cuba, it really helped me a lot because, you know, that's where we were professionally taught how to measure and how to specifically use different fibers and yarns and wools and different things like that. So that really helped me a lot. And when I came back, I decided, well, I have to
Take on that challenge.
Yeah.
All right. And now that you have been experimenting, per se, how do you feel about certain seasons and when you have to create these types of collections? As I know we have a series of swimsuits here for this summer, but what else? What else do you bring to the table?
I not only do women fashion, I do bouquets, pet accessories, home decor, different, you know, whatever challenge you're willing to give me, I'm up to it.
I don't tell you what my challenge, but I don't ask you already.
Yeah.
But we're also explaining that there are different materials, because I'm looking at crochet as just being yarn, right? And wondering what is wearable and what is not, what kind of climate do some of these materials are able to sustain themselves. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, when it comes to yarns and fibers, especially in Belize where we have a moist, hot climate, you have to consider the size of the yarn, because you have different sizes. You have thick, thin, medium size, and so that depends on the kind of design you want to make. So like for batsuits, you try to make anything that is thin, use any yarn that is thin. And then for like materials that, for example, if you're in AC or in a cold climate, you use the thicker materials. And then for example, like when you do plushies, and then like bouquets, and so you try to use a thicker yarn. So it's not as, like for example, plushies, you want that fluffy, teddy bear feeling, so use the chunky yarn. So that's how it goes.
Describe for us what we're seeing here in terms of these various swimsuits.
Sure. Well, I have one set swimsuit I'm doing this year. It's the seashell. So it's like seashells.
Can I hold it
up?
I can hold it up.
Yeah.
So it looks like the Little Mermaid clams.
Right, right. I have one over there as well.
Yes. Pretty.
Yeah.
And the others?
And then these are just like tops, because I know in July right now we have a lot of events happening. So these tops would be nice, especially going to the Keys. You know, well, people want to have that beachy vibes, and this gives it. Then I have the regular bikini tops as well, you know. So you can style them however you like, and be creative.
I imagine
these come in time for Lobster Fest, right?
Lobster Fest, Belize Music Fest, yeah.
Nice,
And imagine that these have to be custom sized, or
I have a sizing chart that if, for example, if you message me, I would send you the sizing chart, and then you measure yourself and you follow by that. Or you could just send me your own measurements, because I know some people, they're very, you know,
particular.
So, yeah, particular.
And do you, would you venture into men's clothing with crochet?
Yeah, I would, you know. I would just have to do my little research, and I've tried it before, and I've done it one time. I did a shirt, so yeah, I'm willing to try it.
I can't imagine a man's crochet shirt, but
That's why I asked, and I'm like, would you accept such a challenge? Because it's very, I guess, feminine to crochet. You know, this.
Well, actually, the world of crochet is very huge. In Belize, we're not exposed to it as much as abroad. But in the US, you have Crochet Fashion Week, and you have, like, for example, all those big brands are picking up crochet, like Prada and Gucci. They're doing, and they're not charging like what we charge. They're charging like $2,500, you know. So, and that's what I try to make people understand, that you know, in Belize we have to encourage our handmade artists, because you know, we put in a lot of effort and time, and sometimes this is our only way of income.
Is this your only?
So
no.
So you mentioned earlier, Adelina, that you had the opportunity to go to Cuba to enhance your skills and perhaps expose yourself to other techniques and what have you. What's next for you in terms of your line of creativity and your work?
Yeah, well, actually, I want to get into jewelry making. They have this special skill that in Cuba they call it vanicas. I'm not sure in Belize how they call it, but I know it as vanicas. It's a tedious task where you take out thread and you make a design in the cloth, and you can make jewelry, clothing, and that's what I want to venture into.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I hope that you're able to get these skills and then teach other people how to work with it, because I can't do needle and thread to save my life. But this is fantastic. And for our viewers that are watching right now and would like to purchase some of your items, how can they get a hold of you?
They can message me on Facebook, on Instagram, Adely Collection, Adely BZ. I'll be right there, happy to answer any questions that they're willing. You know, any ideas they want to let me know. And
how long does it take you to make one of these?
Surprisingly, one. Well, I've been doing it almost 3 years now, so you can't compare me to.
No, but for but for you,
for me, it's 1 day.
For 1 day for one swimsuit.
Yeah, one swimsuit. For a top, it's like half day. Yeah.
So you work really fast with your.
Yeah. When I first started, it wasn't that easy. It took me like a week or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you perfected your craft.
Yeah.
This is wonderful, Adely. Congratulations, and it's wonderful to see your growth from just pets to now you're able to make for us humans too.
Yeah.
Final words for our viewers as we wrap up?
Yeah, I just want to encourage everybody to support local artists, really, because this is what builds our economy. I know it's tempting to want to walk around with a Prada or a Gucci, but we have our own designers in Belize. Please support them, because you know that this is what makes Belize Belize.
100% agree with you. Thank you so much, Adelina, for stopping by. And with that, we are wrapping up our Monday morning show, Isane. It is. Thank you so much to all of our guests. Thank you to PM Briceño for stopping by and giving us those updates. And of course, we'll have more about these updates later on in our newscast tonight. Thank you so much, Adely, for dropping by and presenting us your wonderful collection. And thank you to our viewers, because without you, this would not be possible. And of course, we want to encourage everyone to please join us tomorrow for our KTV the Remix, the second episode for the season. at the Bliss Center. And of course, if you want to watch it live, you can definitely get your tickets here at the Channel 5 studio or at the 88 Shopping Center. It is July 8th. I would like to say a happy birthday to my wonderful friend Randy. Happy birthday to you, man. We hope you have a wonderful day today. And if it is your birthday, happy birthday to you as well. If you have a question or a comment, you can drop us a line right here at oie@channel5belize.com. You can also catch our lives on Facebook at Open Your Eyes PZ and check out our highlights on Instagram at oie_belize. And of course, do us a favor and join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
So start your morning right.
Be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
We'll see you again tomorrow, Belize. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by Smart, bringing people together, and the Belize Bank, our country, your bank.